From Washington, D.C. and around the world, this is Government Matters with Francis Rose.
Thanks for watching the weekend edition of Government Matters, the only show covering the latest news, trends, and topics that matter to the business of government. I'm your host, Francis Rose. The Navy's three biggest development priorities are a new next-generation fighter, a destroyer, and a submarine. But a memo from the acting Secretary of the Navy, Thomas Harker, says its new budget request will make the Navy choose one of those three. Thomas Harker is the acting Secretary of the Navy. Mr. Secretary, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. The message that you wanted to convey to Capitol Hill at recent budget and authorization hearings, what was that overarching message about the future of the Navy that you took to the Hill, sir?
The overarching message, first, thank you, Francis, for having me here. It's great to be on Government Matters. I've long been a watcher and admirer of all the things you do on this show, so thank you for having me. But the Navy's key message is that we had to balance our investment across all of the domains, both with increasing our capacity, modernization of our existing force, then maintaining and sustaining readiness for all of the current demands on our force.
You have unique insight into all the balance between budget and strategy, serving as the comptroller in the previous administration. What kind of insight did that give you when you went to the Hill as the acting secretary for this administration, Tom?
In some ways, it was very helpful, having been part of the development of the budget during the last administration, but then also being up here as secretary, I didn't see all the changes that were made over the course of the last 6 months. And so I was always in danger of drawing on data that had been superseded. So I had to make sure that I stayed consistent with what the current priorities are and was able to articulate exactly where the current budget stands.
You've taken a number of initiatives that this current administration has emphasized and run with them during your time as the acting secretary. One of those is mental health. What is the work that's underway with the Navy that you expect to hand off to the next secretary and his team or her team regarding mental health treatment?
Thanks, Francis. That's an area that I've really been focused on making some changes in. We've had a significant effort ongoing for quite a while inside the Navy to increase the number of embedded mental health professionals out with the front lines on the Navy and the Marine Corps so that we can provide access to care. That's something that I've really pushed on and accelerated. We've got an extra, we've doubled the size of that budget in the 22 budget. And we've also taken some steps to destigmatize seeking mental health. One of the challenges we face is with our junior sailors and Marines, they have a stigma associated with the thought of going to seek mental health treatment. And so myself, the Commandant, the CNO, other senior leaders have pushed out videos that have talked about our own experiences with mental health treatment and some of the challenges that we've seen when people who don't seek that mental health treatment, how it's caused increased suicides and that sort of thing. So we've really tried to destigmatize people seeking mental health treatment and get people to go and request the help for mental health issues just like they would for their physical health. And then also really push to increase access to care so that we have the care available for the sailors and Marines.
That idea of equating mental health with physical health is the one that the professionals have told me is the most successful. How do you intend and how do you believe the Navy should continue to drive that point?
So one of the key pieces that we've been doing for a little while now and that we're continuing to push is embedding mental health practitioners at the front lines on the ships with the Marines so that they have junior sailors, junior Marines that have been, or junior sailors that have, corpsmen that have gone through mental health tech training so that they're right there of an age, of a similar demographic and background with our sailors and Marines who can talk to them and get that initial dialogue started so that we can start the dialogue and then they can get additional treatment where needed.
In March of 2020, I had a conversation with Aaron Weiss, the Chief Information Officer of the Navy. We talked extensively about transitioning to the cloud. We talked about laying a more modern infrastructure for the Navy. That was in San Diego. We came home from that, and about 5 days later, everything locked down because of coronavirus, and you and the rest of the military transitioned primarily, where possible, to a remote work environment. What does that look like today, and how do you expect that to move forward, sir?
So we had a significant challenge moving to a remote work environment. We were not in a place where we could put our entire workforce and have them work remotely. We had to make a significant investment in capacity and capability, and then also in the mindset of our leaders as to how they managed a remote workforce. The Navy and Marine Corps did an outstanding job doing this. We plussed up our existing technology back at the beginning of coronavirus to get people access to their files online. And then we've made a systemic investment in upgrading our technology, both of our network and then also of the individual key Microsoft applications that are on our computers. We've shifted from legacy software to Microsoft's Office 365 in the cloud. That's ongoing now. We're shifting it to where people can access that from home without coming through our network. So we're decreasing the requirements on our network. Then we're also making some major long overdue investment into our network to change it from a network that operates through 5 nodes and key fleet concentration areas to a more modern network like you would see at any company or other federal agency. So it's a huge improvement in our capability over the last 15, 16 months.
Tom, we have less than a minute left. I know that when you hand off possibly to Carlos Del Toro, whose confirmation hearing will take place in the Senate Armed Services Committee this week, I know you will tell whoever succeeds you that the Navy's fighting force is strong and the people there are tremendously capable. What else will you tell your successor when you hand off the reins of the Navy, sir?
I've got a number of things prepped to talk to him about, the challenges we've been facing and dealing with as we go through the work around sexual assault prevention and response. The Secretary of Defense has his independent review commission. They've issued a report, recommendations up to President Biden, and we're moving forward on that. There's a lot of other initiatives that are going on, and that he's inheriting a strong fighting force and a lot of great leaders that are going to help him succeed.
Tom Harker, thank you very much for joining me today. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Francis.